Timestamp, June 9th, 2025. Oh, almost 9 a.m. Just a quick entry. Feeling okay. I got 5, 6 hours sleep on the couch. I'm alright. Good. Got my coffee. I I worked all day. I did my stuff yesterday. Explored Dad's workshop a little bit, which was terrifying. Um, Attempting to look in the nooks and crannies and places that I think my dad might hide stuff. Looking for keys and paperwork, since he's playing hard to get on information and keys that I need to actually get the stuff done, because he wants to help get things done once he gets home. He called last night again, and he reiterated that, and I tried to explain to him, and he's not getting it. Dementia, I mean, I get it. But I tried to explain to him, you're not coming home, especially not until I can get this stuff done. And the reason you're not is you had since October to get some of these things done, and you didn't, and the state of Florida has said no. You're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. I can do all those things. I could build a house. And it's like, yeah, in your prime you could have built a house, which is true. He could do the concrete, the framing, plumbing, the electrical. He is a genius. He's a wizard when it comes to any of that kind of stuff. But now you can't remember what you had for breakfast, and you misplace your drill every 10 minutes and are convinced that the burglar has taken it. That's why you are where you are. But I didn't even try and explain that to him, just because I did inform him nicely that there had been no activity from the burglar. And the response I got was, okay, good. It's like, you're never probably going to connect the idea that you are the burglar. You are your own burglar because of your memory and your paranoia. Because to recap, in case you haven't been watching any of these videos or whatnot, he has been plagued by a burglar here at Leonardo for 5 years, but there was no burglar. It was all his own paranoia because of the dementia and his memory, because he would move things, not remember that he moved them. He's also hiding things like a ferret, and I'm willing to bet that some of the things that are missing are things that he just ferreted somewhere. So I've got a big item. I don't know, completely changing subject now. I've got a big item, and I'm that I bought, and I'm trying to make sure that they got the address, i.e. to send it here to Leonardo and not to George. I'm excited about it getting here, but it's coming from New Mexico. It's going to take a minute. And a little bit about my girl, my wife. She is and hi Tanner. She is, and I totally understand, she grew up around dolls. She's not really a Barbie girl, even if this is a Barbie world. Grandmother was a doll collector, doll trader, all that stuff. She went to flea markets and doll shows and stuff like that all throughout her childhood and even into her teenage years. Which is useful and cool, because with us running a hobby shop and dealing in, like, used toys, new toys, stuff like that. Having my best girl that actually knows like that part of the toy world, that was pretty cool because I don't have that. But she also played with Star Wars figures, and she's just the perfect dork for my life. So being that she's a horror junkie, I mean, we both kind of are, horror and sci-fi, she has, in the past year or two, fallen in love with Monster High, and laments the idea that where the hell was this when I was a kid, which I totally understand. And if you knew my girl, you'd be like, yeah, that's something that she would have absolutely gotten as a kid. But here we are in our 50s, and they came out with something that she would have loved when she was not 50. Still does though, because we're both 12 basically. I'm gonna smoke on camera. Morning. I'm drinking coffee out of. My parents were a coffee mug family. There's like always coffee mugs everywhere-ish. And my parents like Star Wars and all that. My mom loved Jar Jar Binks, which we prayed for her a lot on this one. But we saw the original Star Wars in 75, 76, what have you, in theaters. We saw it like 4 times. So, I mean, they're as big a fan as, 80-year-old people could be. And I think they were watching Mandalorian, because they actually had a couple of these. These things are huge. In the cabinet. So, those I'm keeping out. It's like, okay, alright. There's like 20 Cracker Barrel mugs and stuff like that. Those, no thanks. But he's in his little hover. What is that, pram? What? Anyway, yeah, this thing's huge. It's huge with a Y. I don't know. Look at the bottom real quick to see. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. But I found a guy on eBay that basically does bulk toys. He like almost sells them by the pound. And I bought. It just came in last week, and I showed pics when she came over. I mean, she brought it to me. It was shipped to George. And I opened it in front of her. I'm like, you're going to be interested in this. But it was a big box of like Harry Potter plush and some dolls. And I think I paid like $40 for it. And it was like 5 pounds of toys. That's kind of how he markets it. But it had like 2 Professor McGonagall, like Barbie type dolls. I think 2 Harry Potters and 1 Hermione. Which that was probably $40 right there, plus a whole bunch of owls, which is cool because I'm a big owl fan. Hedwig. And she was oohing and awing because McGonagall's like a household favorite. She's got like the green dress and whatnot. One of them still had her wand, and Pix was just like, "Oh, this is great." And I was like, "Yeah, no, let me show you this vendor." So I showed her the vendor, and she's scrolling through the items that he's got available. And there were my wife is also obsessed with Tinkerbell and the fairies. Always has been. She's a magical girl, so that's right up her alley too. And they did come out with some pretty good, like Barbie-esque, Tinkerbell, Fawn, and some of the other, I want to say like Shadow Mist, but there's all the Pixie Hollow fairies. They did a whole line of all them. So she found more than a couple, 20 lots of dolls that this guy had up that were like bulk Disney dolls, and some of them had Fairies, some had some Monster High, some had some Ever After. You know, and there's 20 dolls in the box, and like only 4 of them are Monster High, or you know, there's 3 fairies in there. So it's not like every one of them is. But she does stuff. You know, she's that dork. And the guy runs specials all the time, like the Harry Potter one I got for, I think he had it like half off or 80% off, which is why I got it for such a good price. And she found like 20 lots that she was like, oh wow, this has got, you know, these 3 characters in here, you know, he wants $20, there's like, you know, 15 dolls in here. So she was oohing and awing. I bought a bunch of them, and they're getting shipped to the house to George, I think, today. She's got like 8 boxes. I spent a couple $100, but I told her, I said, if I order any of these for you, keep the ones you want. Absolutely. Morning. And the ones you don't want, we'll flip. You know, clean them up, make sure they look good and all that, and we'll flip them on eBay. And we've been doing this kind of thing for years. So she doesn't realize this, but she's probably got $150 to 200 dolls coming at her. They're loose. They're not like in package or anything. But yeah, she's got, there's 20 there, another 15, 35. That one's got 30, 60, 65, 85, 100, 115. Yeah, she's got $150 coming at her. Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, this one, and she loves, we're a Federation family. So this one's got some Encanto. It's got, there's like 20 dolls in this, maybe 25. It's got some Tianas. And she doesn't like the Disney ones where they've got like the outfit is part of the doll, the figure. They're like almost molded tops. So you can change the skirt or whatnot, but the top is like part, it's plastic. It's not an outfit that you take on and off. She really is annoyed by those, which I get it. Yeah, this one's got a couple Encanto, a couple Tiana that look like they have actual outfits going on. It's got some Raya figures, it looks like, too. A couple of Ariels, some Frozen. That's a Mulan in some kind of a rather formal-looking pink silky gown. That's cool. We'll go out in a minute, Acorn. I wouldn't lie to you, buddy. Yeah, she's about to have a "we did what?" moment. She's at work right now. She just called me to see if I need anything. Sadly, I said I would like some of the peanut butter cookies we get in, and they didn't have any. She looked. So sadness there. I've still got 1 pack on the shelf, but that won't last me forever, okay? So she'll be keeping an eye out for that. But yeah, it's out for delivery. It got processed through Ybor Saturday, so Ybor City is kind of, I think it's part of Tampa technically, but it's they've got a big post office hub there. Those of you who are students of history, geography, all that kind of stuff, Ybor City was a cigar, a handmade cigar hub back in the day. Cuban cigars. There's a lot of history there. Some pretty architecture too. There's some old Cuban Colombian restaurants. And back in the 80s, I don't know about now exactly, but back in the 80s and 90s, that was like the clubbing scene, was Ybor. There's an entire street there, I want to say it's 7th Avenue, where traffic wasn't allowed. It's one of those no car streets kind of thing. And Friday, Saturday, Sunday, every building's a club, a bar. That if you were a teenager or a 20-something, that's where you were in the 80s and 90s. That's where you were. You were ripping it up down in Ybor. They had goth clubs and gay clubs and a couple of jazz clubs. I think it was one for a while called Blue Moon, the Blue Moon Cafe or something like that. It was kind of a piano bar, jazz bar. I spent a lot of my time, confession, at Masquerade, 911. I did go to Trax every now and then, which was mostly a gay bar, mostly a gay club, but the music was just awesome. And I'm a theater guy. Oh no, gay people, that's half of my friends. Not that. They know I'm straight, and honestly, I ping a lot of people's gaydar as at least being bi anyway, which once upon a time annoyed me. Now it amuses me. It's like, okay, yeah, sure. I'm sorry, I'm in a relationship. Whatever. The only time I ever got annoyed in that situation was when I would get hit on, and I can relate with women on this one at least a little bit. Nowhere near, I'm sure. Please don't flame me on this one. But I have dealt with a couple of gay guys over the years that they didn't force themselves on me, but even a firm no wasn't an absolute no as far as they were concerned. You know what I mean? It was like, well, have you tried it? It's like, I've never looked at a dude and went, I want some of that. Sorry, I'm straight. I have had a couple guys that were a little bit more like, well, call me anyway. And it's like, no. So, it's not just straight guys who don't always understand no. So I have been there before. Other than that, okay. And that's, honestly, it's only been a few like that over the years, but it is annoying. It is definitely annoying. And one of them actually became a very good friend of mine. And we had the pinky promise kind of thing between us of, if I ever do decide to experiment, I will call you first, because I know that you want me, but also I know that you'll be nice, you'll be gentle, you know what I mean? So I haven't talked to him in years, but we had that running agreement, if you will, for a decade. I never called him for that. And that's not, this whole thing isn't me being like extraordinarily alpha male. Yeah, we drink the blood. If you have to tell me how much you're an alpha male, you're not an alpha male, you're a beta. I know what I am. But yeah, that's not even like bravado on my standpoint. I'm just not gay. I'm not bi. I'm not wired that way. I like women. It's gotten me in trouble before, I know. I like women. From an astrology standpoint, my life has been mostly water signs, which makes sense because I'm a Capricorn, Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising. I like my water signs, with the exception of Geminis. I got involved with a few Geminis in my ute. I don't know what it is about Gemini women. Damn, they get me in trouble. But it's the kind of trouble you don't exactly mind getting into. And I have had a couple of Leo women over the years that rock my world. But it's funny because I started getting into astrology in my probably 20s. And you know, I am very much not a scientist, and at the same time, I am definitely a logician. I am, to a degree, a scientist. So I kind of sat down and did the math on some of this stuff because I'm like, I don't know. Is it real? Is it not? And at the time, and Pix is a Scorpio, by the way, water sign. At the time, 90% of the women, I'm not a one-night stand guy, so I mean, if I dated you, I know more than just your first name. You know what I mean? 90% of them were, actually 95% were water signs. My hand to God. 90% of them were, 95% of them were water signs. And then at the time, there were 2 Geminis. They were like the weird outlier. But yeah, any and all of my serious relationships were pretty much water signs, and then these 2 Geminis. Which, from a probability standpoint, you know, I haven't dated thousands of women or anything like that. I'm not a notch in the headboard kind of guy. It's just not me. I find that interesting. That there is, in fact, a certain trend because if it's all bunk, that shouldn't be the case. That shouldn't be the case. Tanner does not like it when other critters get close to him. It's hilarious. Hey, Scrappy, leave him alone. But yeah, from a probability math standpoint, that shouldn't be a factor. It should be all over the place. You know what I mean? You know, there should be an Aries, a Sag, there should be everything. At the time, it was like 20-something out of 30-something of my serious, you know, more than 3 dates kind of relationships were water signs, ex-wife included, Pisces. High school sweetheart that I nearly married, Cancer. This one's a Scorpio, that one's a Pisces, that one's a Pisces, that one's a Scorpio, this one's a Cancer. 95% of them. And then, at the time, 2 Geminis and 1 Leo. Interesting. The math made me go, huh. Hmm. Which, if you do astrology at all, the natural, the perfect pairing for Capricorn is Cancer. And if you look at Taurus as my rising sign, the perfect pairing for a Taurus is supposedly a Scorpio. So, you know what I mean? Even from the standpoint of the astrology books, earth signs frequently hook up with water signs. It's not me making it up. It's in the rule book. You can't fight the rule book. Well, yeah, I thought that was interesting. And that was another thing that made me go, okay, maybe there's something to this. Because that, just from a raw probability standpoint, that should have nothing to do with anything. You know what I mean? It shouldn't have anything to do with anything. You know, if there's 30 entries, we'll say, we'll round down a little bit. If there's 30 entries and there's 12 possibilities, well, there should be two or three pretty much of each. It should be spread, you know, evenly-ish. Because 36 would be exactly 3 of each. This is math. My brother would be so proud. And it wasn't. It wasn't. You know, it was like 7 Pisces, 6 Cancer, 4 Scorpio. I mean, it was like 2 Gemini, 1 Leo. They were the outlier, the exception to the rule. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Very interesting. Anyway, so yeah, no, Pix has... My tangents are wild, aren't they? Pix has 150 dolls about to get dropped off on the doorstep because I bought like 9 lots. One of the lots isn't dolls exactly. It's a big box of dragons because we are gamers. And the dude, I don't know. I don't know if it's a dude or a chick. I don't know. But she had a box of like 12 dragons, like big plastic, like good looking, all different kinds. So from a gaming standpoint, I think I paid like $15 for that. And one of them is huge. It's like a foot and a half long from the picture. It's like, since I'm getting kind of a bulkish discount anyway, we're going to get that for our gaming collection. So, I'm not really sure what her reaction is going to be. Especially if she comes home and there's like 9 boxes waiting for her. I love doing cool surprises though. I love doing happy what the hells, you know. This should be fun. I'll let you know. Anyway, I'm gonna finish my coffee. I'm sorry, in case Fun Size is watching. My coffee. She's from Mass. Not Catholic, although I think she was raised Catholic, but the state. Anyway. And to you also. Yeah, I got stuff and things. I got a bunch of things I got to do around the house here. Trying to get more laundry done. Got some phone calls to make. I got to check in with Holly at DCF. She sent me some paperwork that she wants me to fill out and sign. Yeah, I'm not going to be bored. And my dad's not coming home. And he doesn't understand that. Anyway, see how I brought it back around? You do that with comedy. I gotta take these guys on a stroll here in a minute too. Throw some more. I found 2 shoe boxes of newspaper clippings last night. Mostly like recipes from the newspapers and stuff. Just shoved in a filing cabinet. Shoe boxes full of. It's like, unless you're actually processing and using it, you're never going to find it if you want it, Mom. But never found a piece of paper she didn't want to save. So those are going to probably go in the burn barrel. We're not. There's no point to it. We're not hanging on to all that stuff. You have 500 cookbooks in there. That should do it. I'll show you more as I get it. Anyway, this did not turn out to be a quick update. I apologize for the length. Anyway, get my day started. Make it a great day.